You know what? That's the number one question. Picking the right partner is the most difficult thing. Forget about the deal, forget about anything. You can have the best deal in the world, and if your partner is not good, or they're not a good operator, or you just don't click with them, the deal will fail.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Real Talk. Today we are talking with Vlad. He's a dad, a husband, and used to work as a graphic designer. And now he owns a lot of apartment buildings all across the US. He started a company called Zontik Ventures to help people make money by investing in real estate. And guess what? He's also planning to open an animal rescue farm by the year 2027. You're going to hear his story, how he started, what was hard, and what he learned, and what's next. Vlad, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much. I'm happy to be here.
Great. So, Lev, you started out as a graphic designer. What did you enjoy most about that job?
Well, I studied to be a graphic designer, so it was kind of interesting. I was making labels and books and magazines, and then I moved to making billboards and that you see on the side of the road, like big advertising, window fronts. It was a lot of fun, but ultimately it was a W-2 job, and even though I did really enjoy it, I reached the peak of it and I knew I had to do something else. And COVID gave me that push to move to something else.
Okay, great. So, what happened that made you say, okay, I want to do something totally different?
Yeah, so during COVID, a lot of folks lost their jobs, myself included. It's not essential to be a graphic designer during that time. So I got furloughed and I really didn't know when I was coming back or if I was coming back. And I got a mortgage, two kids, family. Something needed to be done. So my wife, she was very supportive. She said, "Hey, listen, why don't you try being a real estate agent? Because it doesn't matter what's happening in the world, people need to live somewhere, right?" And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, that makes sense." So those are essential services people really need folks to sell houses. So during COVID, I took my test. I'm here in New Jersey. I passed and I started selling residential homes here in New Jersey. And it was a lot of fun, and I still do. I'm a residential agent. I still do some commercial here in Jersey. So yeah, it's that's how I started my journey. And then I started doing some flips, doing bought a property, a rental in South Jersey, and it was doing great. And that's when the whole thing took off, the real estate. Funny thing is, I got called back to my job, to my W-2, and I was very excited. But then I realized that I can't do two things at the same time. It just didn't work because people needed to see homes in the middle of the day or clients' calls, and I couldn't pick them up. So I had to quit my W-2, burn all the bridges, and dove fully into real estate. Yeah.
So, was switching careers scary? What was some of the hardest part of about starting over?
Yeah, you know what? It was incredibly scary because I didn't know anything about real estate, none whatsoever. Even though I do own a house, and before that I owned a condo, I was a client. I was not on the side of an agent, or I didn't see the inner workings of it. I was protected by, realtors. So I didn't know anything. So I had to start from the very beginning, had to give up a career that I worked for 20 years and, just jump in. It was long days, a lot of studying. It was like drinking out of a fire hose, all this information coming at you, and new rules, regulations, and all these licenses and different areas in New Jersey and this and that. And I had to learn the whole lending side of it. And then, you can't just do one thing. You have to be more well-rounded. So I was working with investors, I was working with flippers, uh, and help them as well as just regular folks that were trying to um, look for houses. It took a while, but the most important thing I found is mentorship. It's really important to find a brokerage or a mentor, whoever, to guide you, because that way you're going to eliminate most of the mistakes that you can make. You kind of learn on their experience and let them guide you. So it's really important to find good support system. Yeah.
You're completely right. I mean, guidance is really needed, and especially getting into real estate, it's a difficult profession. So, what was your first real estate deal like? Did anything go wrong or surprise you?
Well, every deal is completely different. You always have to be on your toes, and I was a total nervous wreck. I didn't know what I was doing. I remember now as an investor, I was just so nervous. I didn't even know how to make an offer or write it up. It took me like 4 tries to send the contract. It was just a total mess. But the thing is, I learned and I put everything in I get like SOPs, I have like a list of tasks that I had to do because I was all over the place. I was not focused. So it's really important to kind of just focus on one thing that you're really good at. For example, if you're a flipper, just focus on that and get somebody else to find flips for you because you're going to be all over the place. You're going to miss a lot of opportunities. That's what I noticed anyway. So that's what I've done. I partner with people on flips. I don't run them. I just find the deal and they run it. Right. So I get a benefit, a commission, and at the same time, it's a smooth, quick transaction. So the same thing when I buy a rental, right? I look for one, I buy it, and then I look at the cash flow. That's what I look at. I don't go around, looking for it. I trust brokers to find them for me, right? Because brokers got insider track on where the best deals are and they present them for me. Because like for example, I buy deals or multifamily deals in different states. I don't buy in New Jersey. I buy in Missouri, and I buy in Carolinas. I purchased in Texas and Florida as well. So I'm in Jersey. I can't go out there all the time. So I trust brokers and partners who are there to bring good deals, and that's exactly how we structure them.
Great. So, as you mentioned, you pick different cities to invest in or different markets. So, how do you pick a market or city to invest in? What are some things to avoid?
You know what? It's a loaded question because it depends what you look. It's how you look at it, right? So my first initial thing was like, yeah, let me look at just like red states, right? Republican states that are because they're very business friendly, they're landlord friendly, and let's just go there. Like Texas is one of them, or Florida is one of them. But ultimately, if you don't know anybody there, then purchasing properties there, who's going to run them? Who's going to manage them? You have to get a third party property manager, but you really don't know them. You have to trust somebody there, right? So you can look at the area and then find partners that are doing deals in that area, or you can find a partner and then kind of just go in with them. And that's exactly how it happened on one of the deals. I wasn't considering Carolinas as one of my investment states. So what I've done is I went to a real estate conference, and I went to a lot, maybe 7 to 10 a year, not counting Zoom calls and things like that. I was very, very active online, meeting people and talking to them all the time. And I met awesome team, and they were looking at capital raisers, and they were also looking at asset managers, and I could do both. So they said, "Hey, listen, let's just have a deal. Let's do this." And that's how I started buying in Carolinas because I found partners in those areas, and that took me on a path to buying in that place. So it really is difficult, but my suggestion would be kind of look at both. Yeah.
Great, well said. You mentioned you pick a partner to invest somewhere because you don't know somebody over there. So, how do you know that the partner you're working with or the partner you're choosing is a good partner?
You know what? That's the number one question. Picking the right partner is the most difficult thing. Forget about the deal, forget about anything. You can have the best deal in the world, and if your partner is not good, or they're not a good operator, or you just don't click with them, the deal will fail, or it's not going to perform as good as it should. So picking a partner is incredibly important. It took me about 8 months of picking my first partner or the first team that I'm working with, and I would say a year and a half of another. You kind of just, my thing is, I don't go to a deal with a person as soon as I see them. And especially if you see them on social media, like on Facebook or something, they're like, oh, yeah, I have this amazing deal. Who wants to be in a deal? And I'm like, oh my gosh, how can you do this? You're putting tons of money into a deal plus your reputation with people that you meet on Facebook. You don't even know who they are. So a lot of people say it's like dating, right? And it's exactly like it. So first you go out a couple of times, you hang out with them, see what kind of people they are, see if you click, because if your personalities don't mash together, then you're not gonna run the deal correctly, right? So it's really important to get to know them first. Like with my current partners, I've been on calls every week or every 2 weeks for the past 2 years before I got into a deal, and the other one year and a half. So don't rush, because a lot of people, that's the biggest failure, I think. It's not picking the bad deal or whatever. If the deal is bad but the partner is good, deal will be successful. Because one of my first deals that I got into, the partners were not good, right? Not that the deal is failing, but the deal is not doing anything. It's just floating. It's just kind of, like a boat without an engine, right? In the middle of the ocean. That's exactly what it's doing because the partner doesn't know what to do. So it's really important that to pick the right partner. That's the most important thing. Don't rush into it because that's the biggest. Yeah.
You're right. I mean, trust is, especially in sports as well. Like, if you don't have understanding with your teammates, you lose the match because things are not going the right way they're supposed to, because the next person don't know how you playing or how you want things to be. So it's really, well said. Picking a partner is the most important thing. So what was something you believed at the beginning that turned out to be wrong?
You know what? That as soon as I find the deal, that's it. That's it. I'm done. Everything is great, because you see like everybody's, I'm looking for deals. I'm looking for deals. They're posting pictures on social media. They're standing in front of a building and everything is happy, smiling faces and stuff like that. That's like the least amount of things that the smallest percentage that you see, because you don't see the most hardest thing. When you buy a property, a multifamily property, it's like buying a business. You're not buying a building, you're buying a business, and you have to run it like a business. And if you never did, then it will be very difficult. Like, you know what I was doing for the past month? I was looking at receipts. I was looking at Excel spreadsheets. I'm not going to put that on social media because it's not fun, but that's what you do. As an asset manager, for example, and in my case, I was checking property management expenses. So it's not fun, it's not cool, and you have to do it for 5 years because that's the 3 to 5 years is an average hold of a syndication, let's say multifamily property, right? So think about this. When's the last time you switched jobs and how often do you switch jobs? A lot of folks here in the States, they change jobs every 2 to 3 years. In there, you can't, right? You buy a property and you have to run it. You can't quit. If you quit, all your investors' capital is lost. So that's the hardest part. It's not buying it, it's running it, making the right decisions because you're not only, let's say, playing with your money and a lot of it, you're playing with investors' capital, right? And if the deal fails, then the whole thing just collapses. It's like a domino effect. And a lot of deals are failing now. That's the bad thing. I mean, there's a combination of things why they're failing, but still, uh, it's really really important to look ahead. Do you want to still be doing this in 5 years? I'll give you this funny thing. On one of the deals, few of my investors go, "Hey, listen, I really want to be. I want to learn. I want to learn as much as possible, and I want to be on all GP calls." I'm like, "Okay, sure, no problem. We can do that. Sure, let's do it." So on the first call, there was 8 people, and everybody was so excited and happy. Everybody was pumped. A year and a half passed. You know how many people were on the last call? Three. It was
Really?
me and 2 partners because everybody else just like, well, I'm on vacation. I can't log in. Well, I got another commitment. I can't log in. Oh, I have another problem. I have a baseball game. I have this. I have that. I'm like, hey, listen, guys, we're running a business. We're trying to organize this plan to, let's say, fix a roof because it's leaking, for example. You can't miss this call. It's important. You have to be on it. If you want to learn, you have to be consistent. And people start like, oh, I'm gonna log in every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks, and now nobody's doing it. And we send them a recording and not even watching the recording. So it's incredibly difficult to be a GP, a general partner in a deal. It's not as easy as it might sound cool, but it's not easy at all. Me personally, I rather be an LP all day long. You trust somebody, you invest your money with them, and you do your thing, right? While your money is making you money. That's exactly what passive income is all about. So my goal is to be an LP all day long, but right now I'm not in that position yet. So I will be soon.
Right. I mean, while I was listening to you, next question that raised in my mind was like, a lot of people think that real estate is always easy and makes fast money. I mean, what do they not understand? I mean, you explained it really well, like a lot of things that they really don't understand. They think it's easy money.
Yeah, no, it's not easy at all. That's the thing. I don't think there's such thing as easy money unless you find like a bag on the side of the road or something, but not really. No, it's a path, right? But if you have money and you have money to invest, it's easier because you have to choose the right person to invest with. Always bet on an operator, not the deal. People a lot of new people that looking to invest, they always ask for returns. They're like, oh, what are the returns? What is the cash on cash? What's the IRR? This stuff. That's not important because the returns will be there. The returns are similar across the board, right? So like we're targeting 20%. They'll be around that number, but you bet on an operator, right? So if the operator is good and they're buying the same type of asset in the same area and it's boring. And that's exactly what I like, the boring stuff. You know why? Because it works, right? You don't want to be all excited and be all over the place with different asset classes. I buy multifamily in the same states, in the same market, in the same city because it just works. I know that how it works. So if you bet on an operator, right, you know most likely very high percentage you will be successful or you will get a higher return because they know what they're doing. Because I'll give you an example, hypothetical. I spoke with some folks and they go, well, I buy in Northeast. I'm like, Northeast is like 20 states. What are you talking about, Northeast? How do you know cap rates? How do you know insurance? How do you know what's good? What's A area, B area? I mean, there's so many aspects. How can you say Northeast? Northeast is like, I don't know, what, quarter of the United States? No, come on. So that's why if you look at really experienced operators to buy in very specific areas, you know why? Because they're looking at the best properties in that area. They're not looking at average stuff across the United States. They're looking at the best stuff in an area. And what's importantly is management. And a lot of people miss that part because they're like, oh yeah, we're just going to hire somebody. Yeah, you can hire them. They'll be your employee and they're going to work for you as an employee, right? So they might cut corners. The most important thing is, I mean, the best thing is have your own property management company. And that's what we have. We're vertically integrated. So we know that people that work and do property management, they care. That's the key word, care. If you work and you don't care, you're okay. But we're not in this business to be okay. We're here to be the best. So who is the best? Your own guys, your own team. So that's the big factor. That's the difference.
So, what's the one mistake you made early that others should watch out for?
I got too excited and jumped in the deal where I shouldn't be. Yeah, it's not going bad. It's just not doing anything, right? This deal is just, like I said, floating, not doing anything. I would literally gladly. It's a JV. It's not a syndication, so it's all JV partners. There's no passive investors in that deal. So I would gladly just take my money, forget the profits, and just get out of it. It's not doing bad. It's just not doing anything. right? So, and my fault was I trusted people too quickly and jumped into a deal because I was too excited. And that was my mistake. I didn't lose any money. Nobody else lost any money. We're just not making any money, So the deal is there, the value is there. We're just not increasing it. We're not doing what we're supposed to, right? But everything on this planet is happening for a reason. And the reason was that this deal taught me what not to do. And this deal led me to other deals that are doing very, very well. So I believe that this deal is not such a hard lesson, but a lesson of not to do. And it led me to everything else. Because after that deal, I had three more deals literally just lined up within 6 months. So it's almost a blessing, right? I'm not gonna say it's awful or anything. I believe in energy, and everything happens for a reason, and that's the reason. So it taught me a lesson.
Agree with you. So as you mentioned, there are other deals that were successful. So before you buy, what are two or three things you always check first?
Well, number one for us, it's the location. Ultimately, you're looking at it. Just depends um, on the investment criteria. A few folks buying A-class buildings, like brand new stuff, and they don't do a lot of force appreciation because it's already, top. Right now, it's 2025. Before we were buying C-class, right? Because construction cost was low and it was very easy to do force appreciation. And there was a big difference between B class and C class, right? Now we've noticed that there isn't. They're almost the same cost. So we're buying B class buildings in preferably A class area, right? So let's say folks who cannot afford the best, because it's a lot of money, almost twice as what we're charging. We always so we look for that and always look at potential in rent. So let's say current rent should be roughly 20% below market rent, right? So we have natural growth plus appreciation, forced appreciation. So if we have that, so we have 20% of growth plus we have natural, let's say it's, I don't know, 5 to 7%, right? So we have all this growth, and that's what we based our projections on. And of course, we look at larger metropolitan areas. It all depends on operator. It all depends on what you do. But we'll look at larger metropolitan areas, preferably closer to, let's say, hospitals or big shopping malls, things like that, easy access, no flood zones, things like that. It's just factors. And of course, number of units right now, we're looking at 100 to 250, somewhere in that area. We would consider less, but only if it's closer to the property that we already own, right? For management purposes. So the last deal we purchased was 68 units, and the only reason is it's literally across the street from our other property that is 170, right? So it's easy to manage both because they're like right there. So it's important to look at, not only to just jump on a deal and be like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. Look at the potential, how you're going to run this thing, because buying is the easiest thing. Running it, that's the hard part. So it's really important to look far ahead because you have 5 years on that thing, maybe even more. Who knows? Maybe 7. So
Right. Well said. So as you mentioned, you have invested or you have bought a lot of units. So how did you go from owning one building to hundreds of units? What helped you scale?
partnerships, yeah. It's not about the money or anything like that, even though money is, of course, important, but it's partnerships. So if you find the right partners or key partners, then that will help you scale, right? So if you have partners in certain areas, and of course the team is assembled first you have to look at the team and what each person on the team does. Like you can be a capital raiser, for example, and another person's an asset manager. Just don't go all over doing everything, right? Because you're just going to go crazy. You can't like correctly manage all these properties. It just doesn't work this way. You're going to be overwhelmed. So it's really important to just have like the right team. That's the most important thing.
All right. So, what's something that sounds good in theory but doesn't really work in real life deals?
That's a good question. I'm just gonna go back to how easy they feel it is, or they feel like you can get something and just don't do anything. That's the thing. Even if it's a smaller deal, let's say it's a joint venture, everybody's responsible for to earn their pay. So if you don't do anything, you shouldn't be paid, because ultimately you're running a business. I mean, you should be friendly, but at the same time, it's, you know, you have to be focused on what you're doing. You have to know, and yeah, don't just cruise, because that's not gonna work.
So, you raised money to buy big properties. What would you say to
Yeah.
someone who's scared to ask others for money?
Well, listen, don't think of it. Yeah, that it's definitely scary because you don't know how they're gonna react, right? So a good approach to this is you're doing them a favor instead of their money making, let's say 4% or 5, whatever it is in some sort of savings account, they can possibly be making 20%, right? So think of it instead of asking for money but presenting an opportunity. Right. So you look at kind of flip it around. Just say, "Hey, listen, don't even ask, but you can say instead of saying why are you investing in this or why is your money here, instead they can be there and earning you more." So it's a hard thing because at the same time it's an uncomfortable conversation when it comes to money. Funny thing is when you drop your kids off in school, you don't know the teachers, you never met them before. You'll be like, oh yeah, there you go, run. That's it. But when it comes to money, boy, that's a hard conversation. Funny thing is, when I started when I started raising money, not a single friend of mine invested with me because they don't know you as an investor. They just know you as a friend. So it's really important to position yourself as an investor, and eventually few people, including your friends, will invest with you because they know you as one, right? Because everybody was still asking me about like Photoshop or something like that. I'm like, guys, I'm not doing any graphic design in years, so it's don't even ask me that stuff anymore.
So, how do you ask for money? Like, question from this, like, when you have a plan in mind, like you want to invest somewhere. So, how do you ask or convince your investors to invest in a place? Like, what are the things that you present?
It's not really convincing. Like I said, it's presenting an opportunity or a solution. If all their money, let's say, if they focus on investing, in somewhere else, doesn't matter what you say or do, you're not going to convince them. So you present an opportunity, you throw it in there, or if you asking for a pitch or a sales pitch, you can ask if they can recommend somebody who might be looking to invest, right? Don't ask them directly, ask for connection or in some sort of introduction, and they might get interested. Or just through regular conversation. If it's a stranger, well, they're not going to invest with you. You have to be their friend. You have to develop a relationship. If it's your friend, that's kind of a different thing. You have to position yourself, in my opinion, uh, to be knowledgeable. When they're asking you questions about real estate, you'll be like, yeah, okay. Now they know me as a real estate guy. So it's it depends from person to person, but yeah, you shouldn't be asking, but kind of presenting an opportunity, I would say.
So, what's your real estate superpower? The one thing that you're great at, and what's something you still don't enjoy doing?
The biggest thing is honesty and integrity, I believe, and of course your reputation, because it takes years to build and a second to destroy. So I rather pass on deals and not grow as fast, but be known for higher quality projects, right? Things gonna fail, yeah, everything kind of drops up and down, and there's a lot of uncertainty. But the thing is, transparency and honesty is very important, and like putting everything up front, right? Setting the right expectations. That can be with anything, even residential sales. You can most likely your first offer will not be accepted. So if you say to your potential buyer and say, "Hey, listen, we can make 10 offers and they might not be they not be accepted," then you kind of already set the tone that it might happen. So be ready, but at least you being honest about it. Don't just promise them the moon and then don't deliver. So just be realistic.
What's the best advice you'd give to younger new investors who wants to get in?
Yeah, it depends. You have to find out what you want to do. So if you have, let's say, a high-paying W-2 job, or you have money saved up, and you just want to start little by little, it's good to be a limited partner. You can just try it out and see how it works. You can also ask an operator to, like I said, participate on GP calls and see if you can learn something. There's a lot to learn because we sent out reports monthly, or it just depends, but in many cases it's monthly, on how the property is doing. And you can always jump on the calls with us and dive deeper, or look at underwriting, for example. And we'll be happy to kind of run through the numbers. So it really depends. If you see that you really want to be an operator or a GP in a deal, then yeah, you can try that. But at the same time, a lot of folks, I think, would go the LP route first, kind of learn as they earn, they say, and then see which way they want to kind of move to. And a lot of folks do smaller deals, they do joint ventures, and they're very happy with it. They don't want to even touch syndications. They want to have more control, because in syndications, you have a lot of people involved. So it just kind of depends. But the most important thing is to learn about it more. Don't just jump in, learn more.
Great. So you said you want to start an animal rescue farm. So how did
Yeah.
that dream come about, and how does real estate help it make it real?
Yeah, yeah, it was absolutely crazy. So, um, my our family, we went to New Jersey to a farm, and we were feeding animals and stuff like that. And I was speaking with one of the owners, and about this horse. It was this beautiful horse on the farm. It's just a huge horse. So the owner goes, "Hey, listen, this horse was a rescue from Canada. It was a race horse, and it broke its leg, and it's not going to run anymore. So they went to Canada. They rescued the horse." That's how the idea came from there, because you can teach kids and of course adults on how cool animals are, and at the same time save animals. Because, like, for example, we saved three cats, and then they purely indoor cats, and we have one outdoor as well. We just run around and we feed them, got them a small cat house and everything, and taking care of them. So it's just our passion. And how real estate's going to help? Well, yeah, the profits from it can go there. It's a big thing. Plus, on a farm, you can kind of think of it as a real estate investment as well. There's a lot of pluses to it. It's good to give back. You have something to work for, right? It's not all about the money. It's to give back. That's the important thing.
So what's your take on tech integration? Like, as an investor, do you look at those things like automated parking systems or automated lighting systems or automated lock systems in any project? So do you look at those things when investing somewhere?
Yeah, those are great. Those are absolutely wonderful, and a lot of folks ask for that. Yeah, they ask for security systems. Right now, we're offering packages with smart thermostats, like Nest thermostats, in the building. We also offer automatic locks, and if it's a gated community type of thing, instead of keys or cards or something like that, you just press a button and the gate opens up. So we really like the tech lighting packages. Like I said, security cameras everywhere. It really makes the tenants feel safe, and at the same time it's a win-win, right? So if you have a smart thermostat, it automatically decreases heating or cooling, so it not only saves you money, but at the same time, it's convenient for them as well. So I like all this tech. We use it as much as possible. All these EV charging stations, priority parking, not priority, but covered parking or preferred parking, stuff like that. So we like all this stuff. We invest in as much as we can, right? You don't want to overdo it, but as much as we can to bring up the value of the property and of course make the customers happy.
Sure. Great. Love to hear that. So tell us a bit about your Zentik ventures. So what you guys do there. So in detail, like please do share us. Share.
Yeah, that's our company. That's our company, and we partner with other companies, and ultimately that's how we buy real estate. So it's we started it with my wife, and a few years back, and actually 4 years now. My God, time flies. Yeah. So, and we partner with others because, like I said, you can't do everything by yourself. And additionally, we buy in different states. So it's really important to partner with others because it's the key for this. You can't do this by yourself. If you look at any business, it's all about partnerships. Alone, you will not be able to be successful. Or you might, but up to a point. You're not going to grow faster. We want to grow as fast as possible, but also as smart as possible. So key partnerships are incredibly important.
Great. It was great talking with you, Vlad. So before we close out, if people want to contact you, developers or somebody wants to be in touch with you, where can they contact you?
But yeah, I'm all over social media. I have a unique name, Vlad Arakcheyev. So I'm all over social media. Please reach out to me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. I even have a YouTube channel because one of my passions is motorcycles. So I started this channel called, what is it called? I can't believe I'm so embarrassed. Wheels and Real Estate Deals, right? So I ride my bike to, let's say, a project or a showing or whatever it is, and I talk about it, where it is, how did I find it, and things about it. Of course, I talk about my bike, and at the same time, I show you the building or the property and stuff like that. So it's kind of it's kind of nice and fun, and people get to learn. I don't bother them with numbers or any of that crazy stuff because there's enough people that teach you all that stuff. I'm not into that. I'm just here for just entertainment and light watching. But at the same, yeah, you can just contact me all over social media.
Great. Thank you so much, Vlad. It was great talking to you. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. This is Real Talk, where we talk with real people in real estate. And that's it. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Hey, thank you.